So in today's science experiment, it's about race car on different surfaces. As you all know, race car drivers race their cars on racetracks. So the racetracks are usually hard and smooth, but they don't have bumps or ridges. The smoothness or roughness of the surface affects how well a car can move across it. So in this experiment, we are going to explore the scientific concept of friction by observing how a toy race car rolls across different surfaces. Friction is the force that works against movement. Different surfaces may create more or less friction against moving objects. When an object has less friction against a surface, that means less force is needed to move that object across the surface. So during this experiment, we are going to roll a toy race car down a ramp, which will allow the toy car to pick up some momentum. What is momentum? Momentum is the amount of motion an object has gained. The students will change the surfaces of the ramp. They're gonna have 3 surfaces. One is gonna be smooth, just a book placed or used to create a ramp where the toy race car is gonna run through. They're gonna use a rough surface created by using a sandpaper. You know, sandpapers are very rough. So they're gonna use that surface also, which is gonna be rough. And they're gonna also use a towel or a paper towel to create also a different surface. So they're going to compare these 3 different kinds of surfaces to see how they will affect the movement of the toy car. That means which one will allow the toy car to run far or to run to the farthest. So before you start experiment as scientists, first we have to form an hypothesis by answering the question. As scientists, you must have a question before you start the experiment. For example, today's question will be, since we have 3 surfaces, we can ask ourselves, which ramp is gonna allow the toy race car to roll the farthest? Is it the book? Is it the sandpaper? Or is it the towel? So that's then after we ask the question, we're gonna come up with an hypothesis, which means a good guess. Guess means it's very, very close. Your guess has to be very close to the answer, but it not necessarily has to be an answer. So I want you to form an hypothesis before you start the experiment. Like you can say, I think the race car is gonna run farthest on the book because the book is smooth. So we'll find out. You have to form your own hypothesis. Then we'll find out after we perform the experiment. So for this experiment, you need a short box, a thin book, a toy race car, then you need a tape measure, you need a pencil, you need a race car distance chart, you need a tape, And you need a sandpaper and a small paper towel. So these are the steps. Step 1, put the box onto the floor. Step 2, drop the book against the box to create a lamp. Remember, you're creating a ramp so that your car is going to run over the book. Step 3, hold the toy race car at the top edge of the book and let go of the toy car. Observe how far the toy car travels and measure the distance. And now you write down the distance on the race car distance chart. Step 6, repeat the steps 3 through 5 2 more times. So remember, as scientists, you have to repeat the experiment to collect the data. So in this one, we are going to repeat it, like we're going to do 3 times so that we make sure we get the correct data. So every time you repeat, you have to measure and write down. So that's 2 now. That's 3 times. Okay, step 7. Tape the sandpaper to the book. You get your sandpaper and then you tape it to the book. Remember, the sandpaper is a different surface, like it's rough. It's not like the book. The book is smooth, but the sandpaper is rough. So it has more friction than the book. So we're gonna see how it goes. So step 8. Repeat steps 3 and 5 2 more times. So you're gonna do the same thing 2 more times. 1. Repeating is very important when you are a scientist because it helps you to collect good data before you make your analysis. So, step 9. Wrap a paper towel around a book. You wrap the paper towel around the book. And the main idea is you are creating different surfaces. Remember, you need to have some surfaces are smooth, some are a little bit smooth, some are rough, like a sandpaper. So after wrapping the paper towel, repeat steps 3 to 5 2 times. So remember, as scientists, as I said, you have to repeat the experiment. Like this one, you have to do it like 3 times so that you can be able to get good data so that you can analyze it and then make conclusions. So you have to it. And every time you drop the car, you have to measure the distance and then record. So after you are done, you're gonna go look at your chart and you will make conclusions. And from the conclusions, you need to answer the questions which Ms. Martha has for you. Like, you should be able to answer what ramp service helped the toy car race roll the fastest. And then how would you describe this service? If it was a rough service, like, you have to explain. And then, was your guess correct? Remember, before you started the experiment, you had to guess, like, you have to do an hypothesis, and that means a very good guess. So you have to answer the question to see if your guess was correct. Thank you. Okay, after the experiment, this is what I found out. On the race car distance chart, we have the book having more measurement, like that 8 inches first round, second round 40 inches, and the third round was that 9 inches. When you look at the sandpaper surface, the first round was that 1 inches, second 28 inches, and then third 27 inches. And when you look at the towel, first round was that 1 inches, second was that 1 inches, and the third was that 1.5 inches. So what can we conclude? I can say, like, the surface which helped the toy race car to move fastest is the book surface. Why? Remember we said about friction? The book surface is very smooth. That means there's no friction, and that means there's no force acting against the movement of a toy race car. So that's why the toy race car was able to move fastest compared with the sandpaper. Sandpaper has more friction. That's why it had more force that acted against the movement of the car or the toy car. So the conclusion is smooth surfaces have less friction, which means objects can move faster than on rough surfaces, which has more friction. Thank you.